Okay, so welcome everyone to our live this evening. And for our property clinic this evening, we're going to be talking all about decluttering your home. Especially if you're preparing it for sale, you need to have it decluttered. So I suppose where I'm coming from really is, as an estate agent going out to people's houses every day, one of the questions I'm often asked is, how do we prepare our property for sale? And how do we prepare it for photos? So that's where I think one of my tips is always the first step is to declutter. You need to showcase the full potential of your property and, create as much space as possible. So decluttering, I admit fully, is not an easy thing to do. And I think the majority of us, and I say us, including me, we just put in the long finger. So this evening, I'm joined by Anne Marie Kingston. You're very welcome, Anne Marie.
Thank you very much, Majella.
Anne Marie is a professional declutterer from White Sage Decluttering. So Anne Marie, we'll be leaning on you for all the tips and advice on how to declutter our home. Because when you think about it, like, you could be living in a house 30, 40 years, if not more, and you're going to have lots of stuff. And I think sometimes the bigger the house, the more you fill it with stuff. So it is overwhelming, Anne Marie. How would you advise somebody to start that decluttering process?
And again, Majella, when it comes to decluttering, this is, and I was only saying to someone actually yesterday, we should really nearly move house at least twice in our lives, because, it gets easier each time. Because as you said, working together and working with clients that have, it could be 30, 40 years of clutter. And they're like, where do you start? Like, straight away, the overwhelmers kick in. They're like, oh my God. Then there's, pressure. They're like, okay, the photographers are coming. Majella wants to come. She wants to showcase our home. But it's like, oh my God. So I'd always say, before, I suppose, if you're kind of thinking of, putting your house in the market, before you ever, I think, contact Majella, I would say start decluttering there and then. If you kind of have that idea of, if you are, relocating to a bigger house or downsizing, again, give plenty of time, because this isn't going to happen overnight. And, there's pressure on, again, where you're under time pressure to get things done. And what happens then is you're just going to throw things into boxes. Yeah. It's like, and that's not the way to do it. It's really this is the opportunity to actually do it correctly. So I'd always say, start with items that you're not sentimental to. So I'd always say start with the underwear, the socks, the pajamas. Start with those. They're again, have your bag with you. You're checking condition. And again, you don't want to be bringing them to your next house with you, Majella. You want to be able to really just go for it and say, okay, this is my opportunity now to do it. Because you'll never get, again, the amount of clients I've worked with over the years, and we'd mention, I'd be like, on our call, have you an attic? And they don't have an attic. And I'd be like, hallelujah. And they're like, what? And I was like, it's one less space, Majella.
Yes.
As you mentioned in the opening there, the bigger the house, the more.
Absolutely. And we're all guilty of it. Yeah.
And there is, every house has too much storage. That's what I see as a professional. Yeah. There's too much. Because first of all, the presses are full to the gills, and then they'll go off and buy more storage units. So this is a great time, as I said, going back to your question, start with something that you're not, attached to. Because when you're going down to sentimental items, keepsakes, that's where you're going to get stuck with paperwork. So start out, I would say, with clothing, and that's, and give yourself, I'd always say, set your phone or Fitbit for 10 or 15 minutes, but you have to dedicate the time to it, because it's not going to happen otherwise, because as I said, there's going to be time constraint on you, you're going to be under pressure, and then that's where I'm like, oh my God,
would you advise somebody to start in a particular room, or
room by room? Because what I see where people are going wrong is they're going from kind of, pillar to post. And I know, I can see it. You go into one room and you get distracted, and then you go in there to the next room and then you get distracted again. I'm all about shelf by shelf, press by press. I don't bring everything out, just tackle it one area at a time. And that's where you're going to see the transformation And second of all, is where another thing is where people fall down. And it's nothing against them, but they don't get the clutter out of the house straight away.
And I think if you see that you've one drawer done and another one done, your motivation and confidence will probably grow. Yeah.
Oh, huge. And again, like just to recap again, I suppose explaining what clutter is, the amount of people, that don't realize what clutter is. So clutter basically, Majella, in simple form, is items you have in use in the last 12 to 18 months. You will have exceptions, but the items that are, again, it's the clothing, it's what's coming out of the cupboards, every week, every month, every 6 months, again, like the Christmas platters, you're going to have like, the funeral clothing and stuff like that. You're going to have exceptions that you go back, rely back to. But again, how many saucepans do you need? Like if you're downscaling, do you need to bring like, again, 10 steamers with you? Probably not.
Yeah.
Again,
probably. Yeah. And that kind of leads me on to my next question, actually, Anne Marie, in that, how do we know what to dump, what to keep? I think we're all guilty of, will I hold on to that? Yeah.
And I'd say check condition. Condition is key, as I always say. Checking the saucepans, for example. I'd stay with the kitchen, because I always say the kitchen and the bedrooms are the most two important areas of the home, because that's where we spend so much time. Again, checking like if there's handles, like they've fallen off the saucepan. You've burnt the pot now, the bottom of the pot now has seen better days, out you go. And I find as well that there is saucepans being kept for good use. So again, every day should be good use. Get rid of the old ones and start using the new ones. Don't be saving them for, a special occasion. That's what comes up a lot. That's the way we've been, brought up as well. Mind everything, keep everything. And that's where our clutter has come from our parents, our grandparents and ancestors. We're holding on to everything just in case. No, this is a fantastic time now to really just go for it. And again, going back to your question again, I'd always say, like when it comes to decluttering, right, in any shape or form, for this, especially for this call, when you're putting your house in the market, you should be, your two best friends, as I always say, should be your charity shops in your locality and the recycling centre. Because I'm totally...
I think you'll feel less guilty than getting rid of something if you know it can be reused. Absolutely. Because I know from I'm quite guilty of it myself, Anne Marie. Like I'd have clothes going back to my teenage years, a little skirt or top. That was one of your favorite items, and I'm kind of saying, well, I'll actually hold on to that because I remember that night. But like, there's no way I'm going to wear those again, and they're taking up room in my wardrobe. So it's reframing your mindset, really, Anne Marie, isn't it?
It is. And again, like everything in our house, Majella, like again, there's a link, there's a connection, as you said, like that skirt, that top. There was someone with you, maybe there might have been a parent with you when you bought that outfit or that piece of furniture. Everything has a connection and link, and that's why again we're like, it's very hard to let go. We're a bit like, and the only time, I'd always say you have to be ready, like, to let go. If you're not ready to like declutter and ready to let go to parts, and when I say let go, it's basically going to charity, the recycling centre. You're paying it forward, you're setting it for cash. The recycling centre. If you're not ready, that's where there's going to be regret. So you have to be 100% ready to let go.
Yes. And I suppose it's kind of like when you're ready to move home, it's kind of the start of a new chapter. Like you take somebody who's maybe downsizing to get a smaller home, low maintenance. They have to kind of reframe a lot of things because a lot of their furniture they can't take with them or something. Yeah. So it's a kind of a good time to start a new lifestyle, really.
It is, and as you said again, you have to take into account like how many people are in the house, or how many are moving into a house. So maybe like it could be a husband and wife situation. Maybe one of the partners have passed away. Again, like, do you need all these big tables, all the cutlery, all the saucepans and everything like that? So this is, again, it is a very good time to do it, but you have to be ready. But it is, a lot of it is mindset. And as I always say, I suppose my big tagline over the years, Majella, is, unfortunately, whatever the case will be, we can take the stuff with us. I know they have memories and connections, but now again, like if you are downsizing, like ask, maybe there could be family members, you could be daughters or sons or son-in-laws, if they want something from the house as a memory, would you like give them the opportunity? If they don't, that's fine. But like again, just like, you really just have to just be in that mindset, but give yourself plenty time to do it.
I think time is the thing. And then I suppose looking at the opposite side of it, then you need to set yourself a target as well.
Yeah.
Because if you put no target in it, it will keep going in the long finger.
Oh, and that's what decluttering is basically. It's procrastination. It's putting everything, sure, I'll get to it. And then, you know, you're busy. Maybe you're viewing your, like, a new potential home. There's people coming to view your house and you're like, oh, sure, I'll get to it. Like us all, we're busy human beings. It's, you know, it's a busy lifestyle we live. So it's really like, you know, give yourself that opportunity to declutter. But definitely I would be kind of saying, right, earmark like so many, if you feel like you need maybe a week or 2 weeks in a room, take into account the size of the room and the house and exactly the amount of stuff, because when it gets down to the nitty-bitty things, they will be the slowest
time. Yeah.
Time. And a lot of it is reminiscent, and you are moving on to a new chapter in your life as well, Majella.
100%. And I think, like, I suppose going to the next stage is like you have your house decluttered, but it doesn't stay decluttered unless you kind of maintain it. So you're after totally decluttering your property because it's being photographed and it's going on the market. How are you? It could take a few months for the sale to go through. How are you going to maintain that throughout those few months?
Yeah. And again, it's clients that say to me, you know, and they've said it so much this year to me, they're like, Anne Marie, when I go on holidays, and I think it's a real way, it's a very good way of, like, explaining it in simple men terms. But I'd have clients and they'd say, Anne Marie, if I could go to Lanzarote for a week and deal with 4 spoons, 4 forks, 4 plates, and I was kind of saying, oh my God, this has like blown my clients, you know, their mindset. Yeah. If I can cope with that, I don't need a house full of stuff.
Yeah, 100%. It is all in the mind, but it's keeping. And I suppose if you have a young family with kids and things, and there's lots of toys, would you recommend storing them in a particular place, or?
And again, when it comes to toys, I'd always say, like, with toys, like, you know, you are taking into account, again, like, the sale could go through quite quickly, or you could be there for a period of time. But again, if there's, you know, non-age appropriate toys, the kids, maybe they're gone past the baby stage time. Like, it could be time, maybe, like, you know, the travel cart, different things could kind of be moving out. Toys moving out, and this is your time now, because what I see a lot is, you know, we put up into the attic. But you see, when it comes within, like, say the house comes out, you're going to lift, you know, you're going to re-handle it and go again. Now, again, see, like, I know, you know, a lot of people would maybe, like, take on a container to store items. You know, less is more, because that's an extra cost as well.
Yeah. So, like, and I think you could end up holding on to more then as well, couldn't you?
That's it. And I wouldn't be like, you know, it's grand for certain items, but, like, you want this move as well. Like, you want to say, like, when potential clients are coming to your home, you need to depersonalize it as well. So again, like, they want to visualize again where they're going to put their kitchen table, where they're going to put beds, where they're going to put in the lockers, you know, their couches, you know, console tables and everything like that. So you want to, like, have less. So, because when I go into homes, I find it's excess furniture in the houses, and it's like, okay, so, you know, when you start taking them out, and it's like, oh, then you can see the potential. And really,
I always say that, you know, as a, you know, buyers, they aren't buying your home, they're buying their future home. Yeah. So they really need to imagine themselves living there. So there needs to be space. You have to take away your personal belongings, but then there's a thin line between not having a bear either. You know, there's nothing worse than an empty house, but how we can dress things with, like, cushions, with flowers, things like that, you know, to bring personality to it, but that buyers can see themselves living in your home.
Yeah. And I'd always say, go back to the toys again, like, you know, Majella, I'd always say, like, you know, especially with, like, my kids now, say, are 11 and 9 and 3, get them involved. If they're at that age group, and say, you know what, I did it here only like a few months ago, and I have 4 black bags. We're very minimal, you know, every year. And I'd always say, again, like, coming up to Christmas is a great time to declutter before Santa comes. Again, at birthdays. So, like, you're on top of it. What I see is people leave it to last minute, and everything's just kind of thrown to bag, and then it's just thrown off for the sake of it, and then there's an argument. Ma'am, you threw that out. And that's everyone has to be ready. If they're not ready to let go, that's fine. But again, like, putting all the toys, maybe put soft toys maybe into like a clear storage bag, you know, again, so when you are on the move, that you can find it and label it in with a sticky label. At least that can go straight away, and you can locate things on the move when you're relocating into your new home as well. Keep it simple, because you can overthink it and make it as like hard as possible. But keep it simple for everyone, because look, it's a big upheaval for any person, for whatever age, young and old. So it's really just being mindful as well of that, making the move as less stressful for your clients and for their family as well.
Yeah. No, good point. And like kind of going back to like, you're there, you want to get your house looking the best you can. So it's looking good for the photos, it's looking good online, it'll attract a lot of buyers and get you the best result. And that does start with, first impressions, decluttering. There's no doubt about that. But as you say, Anne Marie, and I totally agree, it can be overwhelming process. So I think it's great advice is give yourself plenty of time and kind of take it step by step. I know that we recently worked together, Anne Marie, in a property sale in West Cork, where there was a lady, she was living there 50 years and she was downsizing. So she had 5 bedrooms, she had lots of stuff, lots of clutter. And I think it was very overwhelming for her, absolutely. And sometimes you do need to call in that extra person for the accountability. And you have to kind of realize that, there's no man an island. There's people out there to help you. So I was in contact with yourself, Anne Marie, and you worked very well together. And
that's so much. It's getting someone. I always say it, family and friends, I always say, are great, but they can be our worst critics. And, they don't understand. And I was only doing a live on my homepage earlier on today. But like clutter, it's our own personal journey. There are memories. So again, even after you've moved into your new home, decluttering will never stop. It's a continuous process. It never stops. But the thing is, you have to have systems. So what I do with my clients is and for our mutual client, it's setting up systems. So those systems are there in the home that is being sold, and they can be basically transferred into the new home. Very easily, done and dusted. And that's what I see a lot with my clients as well, that I've worked with over the years, that, it's having those simple systems. But again, it's to continue, and getting the stuff out in 12 to 24 hours is key to decluttering, because, we're all human, but those black bags to be moved around so much. And it starts off like it's a small seed, but it can be very, very overwhelming when you're doing it on your own. And it's getting someone who's totally independent, non-judgmental, and a confidential service is what I offer all of my clients. And it's great, like Majella and myself support each other, and we do it to our clients. And it's getting the best for our clients as well, because when you have a decluttered home, potential clients can see their new forever home. But again, it's just been
a great investment, really, because what I find is when you bring your photographer into a clutter-free home, they can really capture the best shots, So it is really a key selling point, I think. And it's people don't realize it as much, you have to declutter. And absolutely. Sometimes that means investing and get some accountability and some help in there.
Absolutely. And they'll see the rewards then on the final sale. They will see it back tenfold, because they've seen and for them as well moving forward, that when they move to their new home, it is just so easy. There's no stress, and that's what it's about. Life is busy, and we'll do our best to make that process as easy as possible for our clients.
Absolutely. It's it's selling or moving home can be stressful, but kind of by breaking it down step by step and getting the assistance, it can be made easier, put it this way. But anyway, I'm just wondering if anyone have any questions about decluttering or moving home or selling your home, drop them in the comments below, and myself and Anne Marie will do our very best to answer them. And I know that Anne Marie over in White Sage Decluttering is offering a free 3-day decluttering program. Am I right, Anne Marie? Did I see something online?
Oh, yes, I have a free decluttering challenge actually coming up on Monday, starting Monday the 27th.
Very good. So that can be a good start for anybody to get into action. Anne Marie, thank you very much for always your your top tips, and you make it sound so simple, even though it isn't. And we absolutely love your energy over there.
Oh, thank you very much.
As I say, put those questions in the comments below, and we will certainly try to answer them. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.